Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try, your motivation just vanishes when you need it most? You start off full of energy, bursting with plans, but then obstacles arise, distractions emerge, money worries set in, and suddenly everything feels heavy. And the worst part, while you're struggling to stay afloat, there's always someone saying, "Just have some willpower," as if it were that simple. But what happens when that willpower seems to evaporate? How do you keep moving forward when life isn't cooperating? The truth is that motivation isn't a switch you can simply turn on or off. Contrary to what people say, it doesn't just appear out of nowhere. There's a science behind it. And here's one detail no one tells you. Motivation is built, not found. The problem is that most people wait until they feel motivated to act, when in reality, motivation comes after action, not before. In other words, if you're waiting for that surge of energy to get started, you might end up waiting forever. But there's more. Your motivation is directly linked to how you view life. If your mind is conditioned to see scarcity, difficulties, and failures, your energy will mirror that outlook. Now, if you learn to reprogram your perception, take control of your life, and use motivation as a strategic tool, everything changes. And believe me, that's possible regardless of the circumstances. Those who understand this principle thrive even in the toughest times. In this video, you'll discover how to transform your motivation into something solid and unshakable, even when everything seems to be against you. We'll talk about how your mind and body influence your energy level, how your habits might be sabotaging your progress without you even realizing it, and how small changes can create a positive domino effect in your life. This isn't just empty motivational talk. These are practical, scientifically proven strategies you can start applying today. So if you've tried everything and feel like nothing works, get ready to view motivation from a new perspective. Because after this video, you'll never again rely on luck or a good morning to take action. Let's get started. Motivation is one of those things everyone wants, but few truly understand. Many people believe it's just a fleeting impulse, something that comes and goes like magic. But the truth is that motivation has much deeper roots. It's born within each of us and is nourished by habits, beliefs, and emotions. There's no point in expecting to wake up inspired every day. Those who understand this realize that motivation is like a muscle that needs to be exercised. Have you noticed that some people always seem motivated, while others are stuck in a cycle of procrastination and frustration? This happens because motivation isn't a random feeling. It's a reflection of your mindset and how you deal with challenges. Someone who sees difficulties as opportunities is far more likely to succeed than someone who views everything as an insurmountable obstacle. The secret lies in reprogramming your mind to seek solutions instead of excuses. And do you know what the biggest enemy of motivation is? Waiting. How many times have you heard someone say, "When I have more money, I'll really commit," or "When everything's perfect, then I'll start"? That kind of thinking is poison. Motivation doesn't appear after ideal conditions are met. It emerges in the midst of action. Those who wait for the perfect moment to act simply never move forward. Another important point, motivation is directly tied to the law of attraction. Those who focus on problems attract more problems. Those who focus on solutions open up pathways to prosperity. And here's an essential question. How do you talk to yourself? If every day you tell yourself you're out of energy, out of luck, and broke, guess what? That becomes your reality. Changing the way you see yourself is the first step toward changing your outcomes. So, if motivation is something internal and trainable, what can you do to strengthen it? Small daily actions make all the difference. Something as simple as establishing an energizing morning routine can transform your level of vitality. Physical exercise, reading inspiring books, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg is a great start. Jotting down things you're grateful for and even choosing the people you surround yourself with can completely change your vibe. And speaking of vibe, there's something even deeper that influences your motivation. Many people forget that motivation isn't just a mental game. It shows up in your body too. When your energy is low, discouragement sets in, and even simple tasks feel like running a marathon. Have you noticed how on days when you sleep poorly or eat unhealthily, everything becomes more challenging? That's because your body and mind are interconnected. Motivation isn't solely a matter of willpower, it's also about chemistry. Your energy level directly impacts your willingness to act. A healthy body is a great ally in achieving prosperity. If a lack of motivation has become your norm, it's worth examining habits like sleep, nutrition, and exercise. People who engage in regular physical activity release endorphins, neurotransmitters linked to pleasure and well-being. You don't need to become an athlete. Something as simple as a daily walk outdoors can work wonders for your energy. If possible, try incorporating breathing exercises or meditation to oxygenate your brain and boost your focus. Another crucial point is understanding that certain emotions drain your motivation. Constant anxiety, stress, and frustration throw your system off balance and sap your vital energy. People who are always worrying about money, for example, often feel an inexplicable fatigue, as if they're carrying an invisible weight. It's not a coincidence. Negative emotions create a perpetual state of alertness, overloading your body. That's why staying motivated requires more than just positive thinking. You have to take care of your own emotions. If you feel that your motivation vanishes for no apparent reason, try this. Over the course of a week, note your daily habits and observe how they influence your energy level. Do you sleep well? Do you drink enough water? Are you eating a balanced diet? Do you spend time in the sun? Small changes can have an immense impact. And if your energy is still low, maybe it's time to dig deeper. Sometimes the real blockage isn't physical, but rather in how we hand over our responsibility to others. Motivation doesn't fall from the sky, nor is it something that can be outsourced. Yet many people spend their lives waiting for someone to solve their problems. A boss who recognizes their talent, a partner who brings happiness, a mentor who shows the way. But that kind of dependency is a trap. Real transformation happens when you realize that no one can want your growth more than you do. Taking responsibility for your own life is the dividing line between those who thrive and those who merely survive. Consider this scenario. Someone wants to earn more money, but never seeks out new knowledge about finances or investments. They complain about the lack of opportunities, yet never move to create new possibilities. What's missing? Initiative. True motivation is born when you realize that success doesn't depend on external factors, but on how you tackle challenges. Those who wait for perfect conditions to act will always be left behind. And here's a delicate issue. There are times when outsourcing responsibility feels comfortable. It's easier to blame the economy for your lack of funds than to learn about financial assets. It's more convenient to believe that relationship failures happen because you only attract the wrong people rather than examining your own emotional patterns. But that illusion comes at a steep price. Those who don't take control of their own lives end up riding as passengers, and a passenger never chooses the destination. So what can you do to break this cycle? First, change your inner dialogue. Instead of saying, "I can't do it," ask yourself, "What can I do to change this?" Then take action. Want to improve your financial life? Start studying financial education. The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason is an excellent read for that. Want better health? Adjust your eating habits. Small daily decisions add up to a huge impact over time. And when you truly take responsibility, the results show. In fact, science has proven that people who take charge of their lives achieve their goals much faster. Motivation may seem like an abstract concept, but science shows it has very concrete roots. Neuroscience studies reveal that the human brain is wired to seek rewards. And when we understand how that works, we can use that knowledge to our advantage. Dopamine, known as the motivation hormone, is released when we experience progress, no matter how small. In other words, the more you act, the more your brain becomes conditioned to keep going. The key is to set small, daily challenges to keep that cycle active. Have you noticed how checking off an item on your to-do list gives you a sense of relief and accomplishment? That happens because your brain recognizes completion as a success. Now imagine the impact of breaking down big goals into small, tangible targets. Instead of just saying, "I want more money," try something more concrete, like, "I'm going to save $500 this month," or "I'll read a book on investments in the next 30 days. Science shows that specific goals drastically increase your chances of success. Another interesting point: your environment directly influences your motivation. Studies indicate that people surrounded by motivated individuals have a much higher likelihood of achieving prosperity. That's because the human brain is highly social and adapts to its surroundings. If you spend time with chronic complainers, you're likely to adopt that mindset. But if you surround yourself with people who talk about growth, money, and opportunities, your own outlook changes. So, what do you do when motivation seems to disappear? Science suggests a powerful method, the 5-second rule, popularized by Mel Robbins. The moment you feel the urge to procrastinate, count down from 5 to 1 and act before your brain has time to rationalize inaction. It sounds simple, but it works. Little tricks like these help break internal barriers and create momentum for action. After all, when science meets practice, results follow. And one area where motivation makes an enormous difference is in your finances. Nothing crushes motivation more than financial problems. When bills pile up and money always seems to be in short supply, your mind goes into a state of constant alert. It's as if every decision is driven by the fear of scarcity. The problem is that this survival mindset blocks growth. When you're always busy patching holes, it's nearly impossible to think about strategies to thrive. That's why taking care of your financial life isn't just about money. It's also a pathway to reclaiming your motivation. And here's a common mistake. Many people believe that earning more money will automatically solve their problems. But the truth is that without proper planning, any income boost vanishes quickly. It's not unusual to see someone with an excellent salary living in debt. The secret isn't just how much you earn, but how you manage it. Building the habit of tracking expenses, cutting unnecessary costs, and investing wisely are essential steps in transforming your relationship with money. Another key point: a lack of financial literacy keeps many people trapped in scarcity. Financial education should be taught in schools, but since it isn't, it falls on each of us to pursue that learning. A good starting point? Books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki or Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, which reveal how to change limiting beliefs about money. Additionally, learning about investments is crucial. Stocks, real estate funds, and passive income are powerful tools for building wealth. Now, an interesting fact: many people facing financial difficulties also experience emotional blocks related to money. Have you noticed that some individuals feel guilty about wanting to get rich? This happens because from an early age, we're taught to view money as something dirty or hard to come by. But prosperity starts in the mind. Changing the way you see money is the first step in attracting it. And this shift in mindset doesn't just affect your bank account, it also impacts how you relate to others and to yourself. Relationships can be a great source of motivation, or they can be the biggest obstacle. The problem is that we often project unrealistic expectations onto others, expecting them to fill our internal voids. Who hasn't been frustrated by expecting more recognition, more affection, or more support from someone? The mistake lies in handing over the responsibility for your well-being to someone else. Healthy relationships begin when you learn to see yourself clearly and stop depending on external validation. The real challenge is that how you view others is a reflection of how you view yourself. If someone struggles financially and sees the world as unfair, they tend to believe others are luckier. If a person feels undeserving of prosperity, they might end up sabotaging opportunities or choosing partners who reinforce that belief. Self-perception shapes reality, and understanding this is the first step toward building more balanced relationships. And there's more. The quality of the connections you cultivate directly affects your level of motivation. Have you noticed how some people leave you feeling drained while others leave you energized? That's no coincidence. Negative people suck the energy out of you and limit your growth. If someone is constantly belittling your dreams or always complaining about life, that energy will inevitably influence you too. That's why it's essential to choose your circle wisely. If you want more motivation, surround yourself with people who think big. Now here's a fundamental point. Self-awareness and communication are key to improving any relationship. Want a lighter, more fulfilling relationship? Learn to listen without interpreting every remark as criticism. Want to be more respected? Learn to set boundaries without being aggressive. A great book on this is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, which offers strategies to create authentic connections and strengthen relationships without losing your sense of self. And speaking of learning, staying updated and continuously evolving is one of the secrets to never losing your motivation. Motivation dies when the mind stagnates. Those who stop learning stop growing, and when you stop growing, life starts to feel like a burden. The problem is that many people go years without seeking new knowledge, living on autopilot, repeating the same routines, the same problems, and the same excuses. The truth is that learning is one of the most powerful fuels for keeping your motivation alive, because it renews your perspective and opens doors to new opportunities. And here's an important point. Studying doesn't mean just attending formal courses. Learning is everywhere, in books, in experiences, in the right conversations. The difference between those who prosper and those who get left behind isn't in the degree you hold, but in your commitment to continuous learning. Some of the most successful people in the world, like Elon Musk and Warren Buffett, share one habit. They read every day, not because they have to, but because they understand that knowledge is a competitive advantage. If you want to improve your financial life, for example, it doesn't make sense to spend hours mindlessly scrolling through social media when you could be reading something valuable. Books like The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg or Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker teach principles that can completely transform your view of money, motivation, and success. And if you think you don't have time to read, try audiobooks. Just 15 minutes a day can make an enormous difference over time. Another issue that hinders empowerment is the sheer number of distractions competing for your attention. Have you noticed how the internet is a black hole of stimuli, notifications, short videos, meaningless controversies? All of these steal your focus and consequently your motivation. If you want to study more, try strategies like the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes of full focus followed by a 5-minute break, or turning off notifications while tackling important tasks. Small changes in your routine can multiply your productivity. And the most interesting part, the more you learn, the more you realize that the reality around you begins to change. After all, the mind and the universe are more connected than most people realize. Everything in the universe is energy, including motivation. Have you ever noticed how some people enter a room and instantly lift the vibe? while others seem to drain the energy from their surroundings. That isn't mysticism, it's physics. Your emotional state creates an energy field that directly influences what you attract in life. If your vibe is one of scarcity and discouragement, opportunities seem to vanish. But when you shift your frequency to gratitude and prosperity, doors start to open. And no, this doesn't mean ignoring problems and pretending everything is okay. The point is how you choose to react to circumstances. Those who focus on the problem only feed it. Those who focus on solutions find a way out. Neuroscience has shown that repetitive thoughts create neural patterns, meaning the more you reinforce limiting beliefs about money, success, and motivation, the more your brain acts to confirm them. The reverse is also true. Change your focus and you change your results. Want a practical example? Try starting your day with a morning routine designed to boost your energy. This might include practicing gratitude, writing down 3 things you're grateful for every day. Positive affirmations, I'm capable of creating the life I desire. Visualization, mentally picturing your goals as already achieved, and a bit of physical activity to get your blood flowing. It sounds simple, but it makes a huge difference in your motivation throughout the day. Small habits, big impacts. Another powerful strategy is to limit your exposure to negative influences. Sensationalist news, toxic social media, and destructive conversations can drain your energy without you even realizing it. Choose to consume content that uplifts your vibe. Inspiring books, motivational videos, podcasts about prosperity. Just like a healthy body depends on good nutrition, a healthy mind depends on quality information. And when you learn to control your energy, you realize something even deeper. True motivation doesn't come from external factors, but from the connection with yourself. Waiting for something or someone to rescue your life is the fastest route to frustration. True motivation doesn't arise from external circumstances, but from the decision to take control of your own destiny. Those who outsource the responsibility for their own happiness are, in effect, handing over the steering wheel of their life to someone else. And here's the problem with that. No one is going to drive as carefully for you as you would for yourself. Success begins when you realize that no one is coming to save you, and that, rather than being frightening, is liberating. Many people say they want to change their lives, but at the first sign of difficulty they give up and blame the world. The boss doesn't appreciate me. The market is tough. Luck is never on my side. Yet while these same people spend hours complaining, others are busy creating opportunities. The difference? Attitude. It's not about luck. It's about making a decision. Motivation needs to be fueled by action, not excuses. You can control your level of effort, your discipline, your learning, and those are the factors that determine success. And here's an important point. Taking personal responsibility doesn't mean being overly hard on yourself or blaming yourself for mistakes. Making mistakes is part of the game. The question is what you do with them. Successful people don't view failures as defeats, but as lessons. The secret lies in adjusting your mindset to see every obstacle as an opportunity for growth. If something goes wrong, instead of complaining, ask yourself, what can I learn from this, and what can I do differently next time? A great exercise to strengthen this mindset is to review your small wins every day. Grab a notebook and write down 3 things you did well that day. They can be as simple as keeping a commitment, resisting procrastination, or making healthier food choices. This habit reinforces your ability to act and boosts your self-esteem. The more you trust yourself, the more motivation naturally arises, and it's exactly that inner confidence that leads to a deeper connection with yourself, something that goes beyond the physical or the mental. After all, true motivation is rooted in spirituality. Many people confuse spirituality with religion, but they're very different. Being spiritual doesn't mean following a specific dogma. It means being connected with yourself, with your purpose, and with the natural flow of life. And that connection has a direct impact on your motivation. When someone lives out of sync with their values, passions, and truth, motivation evaporates. The body feels it, the mind gets confused, and life feels like a burden. But when you have that inner connection, motivation flows from within without the need for external triggers. Spirituality teaches something powerful. Life responds to your vibe. If you act out of fear, insecurity, and scarcity, you attract more situations that reinforce those feelings. But when you learn to trust the process, open yourself up to new possibilities, and act with faith in your own potential, everything starts to flow. This doesn't mean challenges vanish, but your approach to them changes. Instead of despairing, you begin to see opportunities even in difficulties. A great example is people who turn pain into growth. Someone who loses a job can either fall into anger and complaints or see the situation as a push towards something greater, a new business, a job that aligns more with their mission. How you deal with challenges determines your level of motivation and consequently your results. If you want prosperity, you must first believe you're capable of achieving it. A simple practice to strengthen that inner connection is to set aside moments during the day for silence. It might be meditation, prayer, journaling, writing down your thoughts and reflections, or even a distraction-free walk. The important thing is to listen to yourself. Amid the daily chaos, your mind fills with noise and external worries, which blocks motivation. Silence helps recalibrate your energy and reveals the answers that are already inside you. And when that connection strengthens, everything changes. Motivation stops being a constant struggle and becomes something natural. Because in the end, no one can change your life for you. But now you know exactly how to start. Now that you understand how motivation really works, the question remains, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Are you just going to agree with everything and stick to the same routine, waiting for something to change on its own? Or are you going to take control and put these strategies into practice? Because the truth is this, those who wait for motivation to strike never move forward. But those who act, even without feeling like it, create a cycle of growth that completely transforms their reality. So now I ask you, what's the first change you're going to make today? Are you going to adjust your routine to boost your energy? Are you going to stop handing your responsibility over to others? Are you going to eliminate distractions and focus on what really matters? If you want different results, you need to make different decisions. Choose one of these principles we've discussed and implement it now. Small actions generate huge impacts, and the difference between success and failure is exactly that. If this content resonated with you, let me know in the comments which of these strategies impacted you the most. I want to hear how you view motivation after watching this video. And if you know someone who's struggling to find their path, share this video. It might be exactly what that person needs to hear today. And of course, if you want to continue learning about motivation, prosperity, and personal development, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That way, you won't miss any content that could change the way you think and act. Because at the end of the day, motivation isn't something you find, it's something you build. Now, the decision is in your hands.